Well, this is great. Here's a nice segment from the MSNBC. Hannity admits that he knew Trump lied as legal earthquake rocks Fox News empire. Um, Besides Hannity admitting to lying about the election, many other people at Fox lied, and they're being sued by Dominion and Smartmatic.
Is a setback for the most powerful conservative megaphone in America, literally, measurably. And it's also drawing in new legal heat on the alleged liars and Trump allies who have been a part of an attack on our democracy, your right to vote, for many years. This is a case we've been tracking, so if you watch The Beat regularly, you may recall it, but there are new developments tonight. There's this wave of lawsuits, some of them quite effective, against alleged defamation, lies, and specifically the powerful Fox News empire. I'm talking about these multi-billion-dollar lawsuits about the conspiracy theories that many view as a direct line to feeding the insurrection. Now, the people suing Fox are basically winning the first rounds of this battle. So this is moving forward. Specifically, the news tonight, a unanimous ruling by judges against Fox in one of these cases, a multi-billion-dollar defamation case. So that greenlights the next phase. Now, the suit is brought by a voting company, Smartmatic. That's an important thing in the law. When you hear about standing and who's hurt, you might feel that as a citizen of our democracy, you were hurt by all of Trump's lies. But the courts don't view it that way. You have to have a more direct, provable hurt or financial pain. And these voting companies say they have that. They also allege that Fox falsely defamed them in ways that could completely upend their business by pushing lies and hosting knowingly conspiracy theories by Trump's lawyers to falsely portray the voting company, Smartmatic, as some sort of foreign enemy that was actually illegally flipping votes to Biden. Now, real quick, you will note the hypocrisy there. The Trump aides who were caught trying to steal the election, in some ways trying to overturn it in a manner that might not have been illegal, and we've explained some of those plots. In other ways, they clearly were illegal. The ones trying to steal the election were also the ones accusing a voting machine company of doing what they, the Trump folks, were doing.
That's the thing about the right wing. They're extremely hypocritical. For the most part, all the things that they accuse other people of doing is what they've been doing, especially in this situation with the election. Tons of Republicans have been caught committing fraud for Trump. Several people have murdered people. There's been people who have voted more than once. And it's all to try to get Trump elected. But it just goes to show all the right-wingers are the ones doing the election fraud.
Stealing the election. And that's not all. This case, which I'm telling you just got the green light, it names names. Goes after specific anchors, goes after Rudy Giuliani for knowingly and falsely pushing the lies, and Maria Bartiromo, Janine Pirro, and Lou Dobbs, names you might recognize from the whole Fox News empire.
All the big wigs are getting sued, and it's awesome. Well, besides Rudy, he's not a big wig on Fox, but he's the one who kind of pushed Trump into believing it was an election. It was a stolen election. Trump was going to concede defeat until Rudy Giuliani started telling him that it was a lie, and then Trump started pushing it as well, even though he didn't believe it either.
And Giuliani is going to have to answer for it in court. This new development has brought him back in. Now, the alleged lies started with Trump and his lawyers after losing the election in 2020. And they were reported out with this reckless disregard, according to the company that says it was so hurt by this. I mean, let's remember, you might, as a news consumer, know that there weren't voting machine companies flipping votes, that there was no evidence of that, that it was certainly never proven in court. You might say this is all kind of just bizarro land. But they got millions of people to believe this. That affects not only our democracy, but in court it affects this company, which gives them, bottom line, a stronger case to wage this multi-billion-dollar hit against Fox News. And I could tell you, that's a company, even with a lot of money, they're going to care if they're going to lose billions of dollars over putting up this kind of, well, crap like this.
Smartmatic is a company. You're going to be astonished when I tell you how it was formed. It was formed really by three Venezuelans who were very close to the dictator Chavez of Venezuela. And it was formed in order to fix elections.
And by the way, the states, as you well know now, they have no ability to audit meaningfully the votes that are cast because the servers are somewhere else.
And with the assistance of Smartmatic software, a backdoor is capable of flipping votes.
You just said it all. This is a Smartmatic, a Delaware entity registered in Boca Raton, Florida. Activities in Caracas, Venezuela.
False. Completely false. And dangerously so when you talk about how people understand what's happening in our elections. There was no backdoor, and states actually have extensive abilities to audit this. Indeed, every time you see us cover recounts and other legal processes for state votes, we're covering all the ways that you can review and even re-review those votes. Indeed, if you've spent time with us, I've covered cases where there's a recount, Republican wins, and we go through those materials. Sometimes a Democrat wins. Sometimes it's super close. All of that is because the states do indeed have this authority and this ability.
Yeah, every county basically has the ability to audit and re-audit like their votes if they want. It just doesn't happen as often because when somebody loses, they accept defeat like they should instead of going around claiming every election is a lie.
So I showed you Lou Dobbs, among others, there. Then 5 days after Smartmatic demanded these retractions from what they call these lies from Fox and threatened to pursue defamation and disparagement claims, well, the tune might have changed a little bit. Here was Dobbs fact-checking Dobbs.
We reached out to one of the leading authorities on open source software for elections, Eddie Perez, for his insight and views.
Have you seen any evidence that Smartmatic software was used to flip votes anywhere in the U.S. in this election?
I have not seen any evidence that Smartmatic software was used to delete, change, alter anything related to vote tabulation.
So after getting sued, yeah, they changed their tune. Like, no, we're not. I even noticed that occasionally listening to Fox and checking out stuff people have reported about Fox, and yeah, they changed their tune after they got sued and tried to make it seem like they weren't pushing an election lie, even while at the same time pushing it in other ways, because Fox News has never really moved away from the election being a lie, but you know that was hilarious. Get sued and then boom, bring somebody on to say that there is no evidence of election fraud, which this is just more proof for Dominion and Smartmatic to use against Fox. And I so hope these people, like Fox News, lose so much money they have to like shrink their size and stuff. I wish they could go out of business, but that probably isn't going to happen.
How about that? Now, let me say, in all seriousness, with a smile, that is what journalism looks like. And it's a very different thing if you say, Giuliani claims X, we looked into it, here's what the experts say Y, and let people then with the information make up their own mind. So under duress, Lou Dobbs did there commit some type of journalism. The problem is, according to these voting machine companies, they didn't want to do that. They spent months defaming them, allegedly, and only under threat of these lawsuits did they ever go on and add the other side or the expert side or the fact check.
I know, yeah, he has to say allegedly, but there is like no, yeah, there's allegations, but there's so much proof that it's like, there's no way for like Fox News to truly deny anything that they've done, because it's all recorded. There's so much video evidence of them talking about the election being a lie and defaming Smartmatic and Dominion.
So tonight's news is a shot in the arm for that case that I'm telling you about. At a time when the damage of these lies have many people discussing and debating and calling for more legal and more painful sanctions for the entities in our society that do this kind of stuff. I'm sure these are debates you've had around the kitchen table, at the bar, at the restaurant with people. Can you really get away with this? Are we facing something that is a real problem that needs to be updated, needs to be tackled. Now, you also have that record-breaking win against Alex Jones, and then a separate Fox case, a separate multi-billion-dollar lawsuit, over $1 billion, from another different voting machine company. And that's the one we told you about earlier, where Murdoch, who runs the entire Fox Corporation, parent company, he went under oath just last month. And there's allegations that he, the head honcho, knew about the lies and encouraged the people on air to push them.
Oh, if he knew about it and he pushed it, they could do like probably like an individual lawsuit against him as well and get even more money out of him, which would be awesome because if they can get Rupert Murdoch, it'll just be like icing on the cake.
That he called the shots directly. And they have now forced, in that case, Murdoch, Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, and Maria Bartiromo to testify in these depositions. So then they're forced to tell the truth, and then you get new information. Consider that under oath, some of them just admit it. Sean Hannity saying he did not believe for 1 second Trump's fraud claims.
Well, they're just giving Dominion and Smartmatic more and more evidence. I know that they can't lie in their like subpoena deposition hearing thing, but like wow, there is no way for like Fox News and these people to actually like defend themselves in court because there's just so much evidence against them, and I just can't wait for this like court battle to actually happen and to see what they try to say to defend themselves because they're truly just screwed.
Now, I just mentioned to you how journalism works and hearing all sides. There is another side to this story. This case has not yet been adjudicated, although Fox is losing the first rounds in procedure. But the Fox lawyers counter that what they are doing, what the company did, was part of journalism, that they were reporting on election fraud claims, and that even if those claims were false at the time or later proven false, that was part of their reporting. So I want you to understand that's their defense, and they may mount it in court.
Well, what a lame defense. Okay, it's like if you know something is a lie and you try reporting on it and not like disprove it or anything, that's you supporting the lie. It's not, trying to get all sides of the story, because if you don't talk about the other side of the story, that it's not a lie, well then, what are you actually doing?
Here's the thing. There are limits to that defense. We certainly don't want to live in the world, and the First Amendment doesn't live in a world where those kind of arguments mean that you can do anything you want and say anything you want without recourse. So there's a judge talking about the robust and unintimidated press here. And there's a separate case dealing with Newsmax, where the judge found the First Amendment protects reporters, and the First Amendment is still not unlimited, those reporters being, in this case, at Fox News. And that the neutral idea of reporting doesn't mean a publisher can deliberately distort statements, launching personal attacks on its own or on a public figure, and that Smartmatic's allegations, which they call well-pled, meaning substantiated, support the idea that Newsmax's reporting in that case was not accurate and not disinterested and not unbiased.
I hope this kind of lawsuit will force Fox News and these other right-wing news sources to actually start probably being more accurate in their news, because they can get sued. I hope that's one reason why I hope Dominion and Smartmatic wins their lawsuits, because it will set a good precedent against these kinds of news sites and media that they can be sued and they can lose if they start reporting on lies and do a whole lot of defamation. Beforehand, Tucker was able to get away with it, saying that he was just asking questions and not like a real news person, more of like a comedian and stuff, and no sane person would take him reasonably. Well, a bunch of people did take him reasonably. So I hope this sets a decent precedent for these people to be sued multiple times.
Now, that sounds like a lot of legalese. Let's be clear. The First Amendment protects all kinds of statements. It certainly protects the vast majority of what goes on at Fox News, whether people like it or not. But what the judge is saying there that could be bad news in this important case for Fox is that, yes, you have a wide, wide berth. But the First Amendment is not a license to defame or lie recklessly or forever. Now, I can tell you it's a very high bar. Usually when we cover these cases, the first thing we tell you is it's hard to win a defamation case against major media outlets. And this is a multi-billion-dollar decision for Fox unless they settle. And right now tonight, they're getting some very bad news from a lot of judges looking at exactly what they've been up to.